Some projects end up taking on a life of their own. You start with something in mind, and by the end, you're somewhere completely different. That's what happened to me through the process of coming up with a package design for this energy drink. I started this project planning to redesign an old personal project that I did years and years ago. I made up a fake energy drink called Dine Energy, and I wanted to revisit that project and make it better now that I've had years of experience since then. I started to redo the logo and collect ideas and inspiration to create the new design, but while collecting all of that, I kept getting this weird feeling. I'm staring at all these smaller energy drink brands and wondering why I have a completely different gut feeling about them opposed to some of the bigger companies like Red Bull, Monster, and NOS. And to me, these brands feel like they're on a completely different level. I kept coming back to it and analyzing what I was feeling, and the conclusion that I came to was that they didn't tie their entire brand to being an energy drink. Yes, they make energy drinks, but whenever you look at their branding or how they market themselves, it's much different. Looking at these newer, smaller brands, everything about them screams, "We give you energy." That's not a bad thing, but it feels shallow. Every energy drink wants to give you energy, so making that your entire value system or identity is kind of redundant. It doesn't give anyone any other reason to believe in the brand beyond the energy boost. And why would anyone choose generic energy brand over brands like Red Bull that either stand for something beyond that or just have a stronger reputation? So I decided to come up with a new brand, something that stood for more than just being an energy drink. Red Bull, Monster, and NOS all focus on sports and athletes. So I thought I would try something different and focus on creatives. I was thinking this brand could operate similarly to Red Bull, but instead of putting a pool bowl in the sky, they could sponsor creatives to come up with wild conceptual pieces that go beyond what an artist could do alone. But still, the main focus of this video isn't the brand, it's the package design. I decided to name this new energy drink Pulse. It feels like it fits thematically, but it also rolls off the tongue. You can easily say, I'm going to the store to grab a Monster or Red Bull. So my goal was to come up with a name that could feel natural to say in a sentence and wouldn't feel awkward to pronounce or like it just doesn't really fit in with the sentence. So let's talk about the actual package design. I want it to, number 1, stand out from competitors, 2, look interesting to creatives, and 3, stand out on the shelf. I'm thinking something bold and colorful. One of the first things that I did was grab all the designs I could from competitors and what other people have designed. I tried to organize and label each and every single one of them. That way I could see if there was any kind of visual direction that everybody tended to go in, or some commonalities between the designs that maybe I should avoid. When your competition zigs, you zag. But you have to know what your competition is doing in order to do that. From there, I started exploring some aesthetics through mood boards, putting together images and textures and colors to come up with a general direction. I was having a hard time deciding between the three, so I decided to do some very quick and dirty mock-ups to see how these designs could translate to a can. I tried to come up with a couple different options, and after seeing them side by side, I knew I wanted to go with either the can that would fit Moodboard number 1 or number 2. I asked for some people's opinions, and I took some time to sit with my thoughts. I decided to go with Moodboard number 2. I really liked number 1, but I didn't think the digital aesthetic would really speak to creatives as much as the colorful textures. Now, the main goal of this project is to create a package design, but that's also going to have to include a logo. I had to spend more time than I would have liked to on this logo. I was originally just going to use a simple word mark, but it just didn't really make sense with the rest of the identity and visuals. So I had to put a few hours into sketching out ideas, searching for inspirations, and coming up with a logo that fits the aesthetic direction better. This is the logo that I ended up using. I like it, but I do feel like if I had more time to dedicate to this project, I might have been able to come up with something different or better. But as the primary goal of this project is to create the packaging design, I think this will work perfectly fine. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to quickly mention that I have a store where I'm selling some merch designs, some poster designs, and some digital design assets. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'd really appreciate it if you would just go check it out and see if there's something there that you like. All right, enough about that, back to the video. Now that we have a visual direction and logo, I can start exploring the specifics of the can design. I want to test out a few different compositions and a mock-up to see which stands out to me visually. I grabbed a photo from a gas station fridge so I could Photoshop each design into the photo and see how it stands out amongst the other drinks. It wasn't a photorealistic edit, but being able to see the design in context helped me figure out which designs I liked more and would make the most sense in the context that most people will see them in. One of the things that I found really helpful throughout this process was printing out the designs and taping them onto cans. It was great for figuring out where things would end up on the cans. You know, how close is this element to the edge of the can? Is this logo too close to the nutrition label? And then on the technical side, it was good to see things like typography. How small is the type now that I'm seeing it on the can? Do I need to make it bigger? Is the placement correct? So printing out these designs and almost seeing them in a real life scenario helped me go through certain details that I might have missed or not been able to see if I just done it all digitally without printing it out. It was also just nice to give it some form so it's not just a flat graphic. After a few iterations and experimenting with some different compositions and ideas, I landed on this design. I really liked that it lets the colors and imagery take center stage. It's not trying to sell the logo, it's selling a feeling. I also really liked that the separation between the word mark and the icon gives the design some tension that I think is really interesting. With the initial designs done, I can come up with a few different flavors and create some extra packaging as if they were being sold in a pack. From the package design, I can pull some of those designs and use them for posters or promotional images. Really, I'm just taking my time so I can really flesh out the identity so I can make it feel as real as possible. Something new that I experimented with during this process was creating my own mockups. For something like energy drinks, there aren't a lot of great options that I could find, especially when it came to finding mockups that look like lifestyle photography and not just a product on a white background. So what I would do is take that more generic looking mockup, put it into Adobe Firefly as a compositional reference, and then generate new backgrounds. From there, I can then edit and composite the mockup into the new background. I'm not a big fan of AI, but I think for conceptual stuff like this, it's a great way to show off an idea. Of course, these would be much better if I could hire a photographer to take some actual photos of these products. But with all of that finished, I can call this project complete. I had an absolute blast working on this project, and I'm really happy with how all the designs came out. And I think if I saw this for real in a gas station or in a grocery store, I would absolutely try one. And that's the goal, isn't it? Make something that people will notice and want to check out. I think a lot of designs in this market, or similar ones, always focus on the logo, so giving an emphasis to the imagery I think is actually a stronger move. Instead of taking up valuable visual real estate for a logo no one knows or cares about, we give it to something that can really grab someone's attention. And the unique logo placement can eventually become its own identifier, acting as another form of differentiation. But I'd love to hear what you think. If you saw these cans sitting on a shelf at a gas station or grocery store, would you want to pick one up? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, I've got a bunch of other videos on my channel breaking down my process for branding, editorial design, and ad campaigns, and even more. Check those out, and if you're into this kind of content, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next video.